back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandron.
What's up? It is Dehjai.
And we're back. We are going to talk a little bit about what? Oh, the hardest conversation you ever had to have with yourself. I was like, oh, I lost track of it that quick.
Is the spirit talking to your child?
No, but in the meantime, we're here. And listen, like, comment, subscribe all the way up front so you don't forget if you don't make it till the end of the video, okay? All of our beauty deets and drink deets are down below in the description box. So give us our topic, ma'am.
So like, as the good sis Can said, that we were talking about today is the hardest conversations you ever had to have with yourself and what they were and why. Like, how'd you get there? And so it got me to thinking, you know what, this is something that we and Ken can kind of talk through. We've kind of danced around these things in previous conversations, but never really just flat out was like, this is what I had to overcome. So that being said, my good sis, tell us, what was the hardest thing that you've ever had to talk to yourself about and come to grips with?
Yeah. I think my hardest conversation actually reminded me of a few weeks ago on the Soul Train Awards. Jasmine Sullivan accepted an award, much deserved. She deserves all the things, if you ask me.
Hello, been deserved.
Man, listen, I am like a Jasmine Sullivan stan, okay? Since day one, Lions and Tigers and Bears, okay? Day one. Okay, I love her. But she got up and was kind of like, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, like, I don't feel my best. And ordinarily when I don't feel my best, I just wouldn't come. But I made a promise to myself. I'm paraphrasing, of course. It was like, made a promise to myself that I was just going to show up and, you know, be here. And no matter if that means, you know, I gained a little weight, I did a little this, I don't really care. I'm going to show up for myself. And I think in the same vein, like one of the more difficult conversations I've had to have with myself, actually repeatedly over the years, is like, I am enough. And even though things haven't worked out, they haven't always worked out, that I have to keep trying, and I have to keep trying to show up. And yeah, it's hard because you don't always feel like it. Like she said, like, you don't always feel like it. You don't always, you know, you don't always feel like it. And it's hard, you know,
especially
you get tired.
You don't feel like it.
Yeah, especially. And there's a logistical issue of this too, of like, you know, I'm older than when I was when I first started up, you know, starting businesses and all this stuff. It's like, it's tired. Like, physically, I am exhausted, you know, and burnout. And when you've been at it for so long, it's like burnout is real too, you know? So I think it was that what she said really resonated with me, because a lot of the more difficult conversations I've had to have with myself are just about being enough and showing up for myself.
I think for me, the speech that Jasmine gave was very similar experience to that of myself, and that I think she also talked about like feeling fluffier than she usually is, and that being a huge reason for her wanting to hide. And that definitely hit home, because that's where I am right now because of my like condition, with air quotes, dealing with my weight doing the up and down, and right now we're on the up. So I have majority of my life, except for like when I got into my 30s, but most of my life I was very, very self-conscious, and to some degrees I still am. But I hid myself for many years in like clothes and things, to, I guess, make it so that people couldn't see me. And at the time, like, if I like looking back at how small I actually was, it's insane, because I'm much bigger now than I was majority of my life. I've always been like the heavier person in my friend groups and in my relationships. And that, I guess, growing up in a society that makes you feel as a heavier person that something is wrong with you, it made it difficult for me to feel like I was enough or feel like that I was worthy of any of the things that I got or that I wanted. Often feeling like I was out of place, like all the things that fucking suck. And I can't say that it was a thing of me also like having low self-esteem, because I didn't, which is the irony. Like, I was confident to an extent, confident in my abilities and capability to get things done and to do things and to be a good friend, which is probably why I go so hard for the relationships that I have. But maybe not as confident, or definitely not as confident with myself physically as I was with my inward heart.
Yeah.
The turning point for me was right around 30, 31, maybe even later than that, where I was kind of like, well, fuck it. Like, this the body we got, bitch. Like that. And also there became like this movement of all these women who looked like me just kind of having the same epiphany. And that also was encouraging, because that too made a difference in terms of what we saw. Like, the representation was lacking all of my life. And then boom, I hit like 33. And then it's a whole bunch of women out here that look like me, even though I know this because I see them every day.
Right.
Having us be represented in mainstream media made a huge difference in how I saw myself, and also helped me to realize that, like, I'm not as big as I think that I am. I feel like I have body dysmorphia, but on the other end, I always think that I'm 10 times the size that I actually am. So I often buy shit that is too fucking big, like way too big, like this. So the hardest conversation that I've had to have myself was definitely around self-love and just being comfortable in the skin that I was in.
Yeah.
And loving what I saw in the mirror. And even though right now that's a bit of a struggle, because I am on the heavier end of the spectrum I have ever been in my entire life, I'm still able to, when in previous years I couldn't, find things about myself that I love. Like today, I love my makeup.
Yeah. That's dope though.
I love my makeup and I love my hair. I definitely love my hair. These locks are just locking.
Yeah.
So
I think mine has been a bit more
important.
of a struggle. I think it's something that challenges me constantly. So, like I said, it's a constant conversation that I'm having to have with myself. But
yeah,
that's what it is.
I mean, I get it. Like, talking about it makes me like feel a little uncomfortable, but I know that like me having these conversations, somebody will relate and or understand and have similar experience, and maybe even find some sort of comfort in my conversation, like I've done with other people that I've watched who look like me and who I in some ways kind of relate to, you know, like this is a very uncomfortable conversation, which is why this perspiring starts to happen.
Yeah. No, it's a super uncomfortable conversation. It's an uncomfortable conversation for me for different reasons too, because it's like, I don't know, it's just bringing up a lot. I hadn't expected that to happen, but it's bringing up a lot as far as, I don't know, like, like social media is a whole other thing, because like, that's people's highlight reel, but when you also know that you've tried so many things and like nothing seems to be coming together the way that it's coming together for other people, it's very discouraging. You know, of having started blogging when all of the girls started blogging, you know what I'm saying? Like initially, and just things just not coming together repeatedly. I don't know. I don't think people talk enough about, and maybe I'll do a series on this. I don't know. But I don't think people talk enough about failure and luck. Because Like, I think it looks glossy and pretty, but I respect people who are like, this is the other things that I've tried that didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and a lot of people, they have to try repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, one of the people I followed, she said like she has like this multi-million-dollar business now, but she was like, I tried to do a hair blog. I tried to do a a what did she say? Like an interior design blog. She was like, I tried a bunch of different stuff. It just didn't stick, but this was like my sweet spot and it worked and I was able to scale it and grow it. But yeah, it's challenging,
That is
especially when you
hard.
have um I think sometimes it's easier for people who didn't expect much from themselves
Mm-hmm.
and they happened into a lot versus people who have always had high expectations and high big dreams and it's taking longer to get there than they had anticipated.
It's funny. I feel like because we have had these conversations, and I thought about this is so strange, but I thought about this particular thing that I'm going to say in a minute. I thought about this a couple of days ago where you and I were having this was got to be over 10 years ago, 10 plus years at that. You and I were having a conversation about whatever the fuck I had going on. I don't even remember, like, because I was at the time pre-30s, it was a constant struggle. Like, keeping a stack with y'all. And Kandron said something to me like, you are just like highly favored, friend. Like, just highly favored. Like, you be lucking into a whole lot of shit. And I'm like, sis,
Yeah.
I don't know because I struggle so much. Like,
Yeah.
so hard. You know, like, and when something like a blessing comes about, it's just kind of like, whew, relief.
Yeah.
And like, I, at this point, and this is a conversation that I was having with my therapist, that because of all of that history of mine and that being my like my journey, like we had this conversation before about like the getting to like what are you relearning and unlearning, and that being my journey of constantly, you know, going through hurdle after hurdle after hurdle without break. I was saying to my therapist, like, yo, like at some point, like I know it's people in this life that, like you said, they just luck into whatever the case may be, but like they don't have these experiences. Like I want to just let it be good. Like why I gotta struggle for every freaking thing that I have?
Yeah.
Like why it's gotta be so hard? And then not only that, but also like a thing of um this idea that like, yeah, you know, if God brought you to it, he'll bring you through it and so on and so forth. Okay, great, got it. But like I know that I can get through, right? But I don't want to do that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I want to just be successful and succeed in the things that I'm doing as I once did when I was a kid. And I think the difference between adulthood and childhood is that when you're a kid, the fears about life and all the things that are happening around, all the shit that's happening around you doesn't matter. It's you are more tunnel vision and focused on what it is that you want to achieve and how to get there, and like keep trying and falling and failing, and you know, you dust yourself off much easily as a child. But like as an adult, and you go through all these things, it's just like, yo, I'm so tired of having physical and mental scars, because those two things keep me in a box, unable to like progress to the next stage, because I am so fearful of doing anything. And that's like another thing, like y'all, I am so tired. I feel like I'm preaching and I'm real hot, so I'm sorry, but like I am so tired of being so fearful of doing anything. And like I don't know that I was always this way. Hell, when Kandron and I met, I think I met you two or 3 weeks after we had all been at VCU, and we met at another friend's house because everybody had just all come together for like a family dinner or something like that. And we realized the similarities in that we were like kind of independent students in the sense that we lived off campus.
Right.
And so we just kind of clicked up because it was like, well, we got to figure it out. We got to work. We got to do this. We got to do that. We don't have the luxuries that everybody else seems to be having. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know where the hell I was going with that, but like, just love.
No, just I think we were just saying like even in that time we were connected because of a kindred spirit of like, I don't want to say fearlessness, but like maybe youthful ignorance about what life is.
That's where I was going. Good job, friend.
Yeah. So, and I think I took some risks. I don't say a lot, but I took a fair number of risks. Some of them paid off, but overall, like I wish things were easier. I wish things had worked out. But again, going back to Jazmine Sullivan, like if we look at her trajectory, like how she just even, takes a while, hibernates for a while and comes back out and she's been on our radar since what, like 2010 or something, maybe even before that. And like, look at how long it's taken her to like kind of get full circle. And even watching her up there on the stage, like receiving her award, it felt almost like it was like a tippiness or something about the situation. I don't know if that's the right word, but like watching her up there, I was just like, does she know how much we love her? Like, and even like when the concert tickets were selling out and stuff, I'm like selling out like that. And I don't think it was all bots. Like I know multiple people that were trying to get tickets or whatever, but it's like
damn bots effed it up. So I don't
the bots definitely get you every time. But yeah, like I hope that she received that as like, even though the bots were selling, like getting the tickets and selling them for double, like that is a show, that is a big deal that somebody would be willing to pay that double. Like I hope she is feeling all of this as like, girl, we love you. You like, you are one of our faves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't care how you show up. We just want you there. We want you there. You know what I'm saying? So I think I just like took from all of that, like just to show up and keep showing up, even when it feels like maybe it's not working out or not working out exactly how you had anticipated. You never know when you're going to get the break and, it's going to work out. And then you become the Jazmine Sullivan,
So, we're going to end this conversation here because I feel like we can run right off the rails.
Yeah.
Into Emotionville, and I don't think we want to do that today. So
I'm already pretty deep in my emotions right now, like holding back tears. So yeah, let's end it.
So hop down in the comments below and let us know what you related to in this conversation, if you caught the Jazmine Sullivan speech and what you thought about it. And as always, please follow us on all of our different streams of social media. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.